All right, we are live. Welcome to Ashmont Realty Live. This is Adam Ashmont, president of Ashmont Realty and Honduras College instructor. And this week, I got a couple questions about this. Hey, Adam, I'm a new agent and I need help choosing the right brokerage. What are some things I should be thinking about? So if you're a new agent and you're trying to figure out what brokerage to choose that's going to be a right fit for you, this is the podcast for you. So stay with me. I'm going to go over some very important questions you should be asking your brokerage when you interview them right after this countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right. Well, thanks for staying with me, guys. All right. So this week's topic is choosing the right brokerage for you. There's a ton of brokerages out there, tons. So we're going to go over some key things, some frequently asked questions, and some myths that I hear all the time. I'm going to debunk those. Like it or love it, I'm going to give you the real straight answer on everything. So again, picking the right brokerage as a new agent, it's difficult. It's tough. It takes time. Do not just pick a brokerage so you can go sit for your exam. I always say picking the right brokerage is like getting married. If you pick the wrong one, it's going to derail your entire career. It really can. Now, if you're lucky, you'll jump ship and get with another brokerage that's best fit. But you gotta really look at it that way. Now, there's a lot of brokerages out there. All brokerages are different. They're just businesses. Some brokerages are set up more to build agents. That's what I always say at Ashmont Realty. That's our tagline. We build agents here. They have training, mentors, the whole 9 yards. We'll talk about that later. And then when there's some brokerages, they have really good commission splits, like great, but there's really no training. You're kind of on your own. So that might be geared more towards an agent that's seasoned. Then they know what they're doing. They won't want to be bothered by a broker. They don't care about other agents or camaraderie. They're kind of lone wolves. That's okay too. So I think there's three things. There's three principles that brokerages should have. Three. One, they should have good commission splits. Okay. When I started 50-50, meaning if you sold a house, you kept 50% of the commission, the broker kept 50% of the commission. That was pretty typical. Now, over time, to be more competitive in the market, brokerages have forfeited a lot of that. But guys, since they forfeited a lot of that commission, then they're going to forfeit other things too. Now, the metaphor I use, so when I'm teaching at Honduras in a class, the way I explain it is the broker, myself, I am like the mayor of a town, okay? And everyone that lives in the town are my realtors, okay? They're like the residents of my town. And it's my job as a brokerage to make sure that I take all that money, those monthly dues, those commission splits, and utilize those into resources for the town. Now, that could be leads. It could be electronic signature. It could be training. It could be mentors. It could be office space. I don't know. Whatever it is. And you take that money and allocate it the way your agents want. Because as a broker, your clients are your agents, not the end customer. Okay? You got to think of it that way. So, going back to the three things a broker should have is, like I said before, the first is commission splits. Okay. A broker should be giving you a good, fair commission split. Okay. Because if they don't, and maybe they give you a ton of training, there's going to be a point where you're going to say, you know what, like I can probably go somewhere else and get a better commission. So at Ashmont Realty, we're 80% commission. There's some brokerages that are higher than that, and then there's some a lot lower than that. Okay. Now the question is, if you get more commission in your pocket as a real estate agent, there's less money that the brokerage gets to allocate to fix up the town, to fix the roads, to pay for the fire and police department. Okay. Does that make sense? Less taxes you pay, less the government or the mayor of the town can do for you. You're kind of on your own. Okay. So think of it that way. The next thing is, this should be at the top of your list. If you are an agent and you're a brand new agent specifically, and I don't care if you're a seasoned agent, you have to have some sort of training and support. Okay, that needs to be number one on your list. Training and support. Everything changes in real estate all the time. Everything from interest rates, loan programs, the market changes, technology changes. And if you don't have someone, a mentor, a trainer, or someone that's in your corner that's routinely, you're working with, checking on you, and you're learning from, then that's not going to work out long term. That's a recipe for disaster, truly. If you're a brand new agent, guys, training has to be number one. So let's talk about training. You got your great commission splits, but you should be getting, number one, really should be getting great training. Now, when it comes to training, the key thing is this. A broker, can they be your mentor and trainer? Yes. However, think of it logically. When you go to those interviews and talk to that broker or HR recruiter, you want to ask them one simple question is, who's going to be my mentor? Who's going to be the one that's going to be helping me learn? And if I have questions at 8:00 at night, which that's how real estate works, who do I call? Who do I talk to? If they say, well, your broker or the office manager, say, great. How many people does the office manager help? Like how many people's in their team or underneath them? If they say 5, that makes sense. Okay. I have 4 kids. 4 kids, right? First kid, not too hard. Second one's not too bad. 3, 4, wowzers, right? No different. No different in real estate. If you ever worked for a company and there's one manager for 20, 30 people, there's just no way for them to understand what's going on, can keep up with all that workload, let alone, truly invest in you and your goals and everything. It's just not possible. It's just not. Now, we as brokers will tell you that, of course, we're there for every step of the way. I'm your broker. I love you. I'm the best broker in the world. I care about you. Of course, we all say that as brokers. But the problem is there's just not enough time in the day to help all your agents. So when you pick a brokerage, you've got to ask them who is going to mentor you, who's going to take care of you on those weekends and nights when you're working a deal. Because you can't say, sorry, seller, I have a buyer client and I'm going to set up a Zoom call with my broker in 2 days and I'll find out that question for you. That's not how it works, guys. People need to know very quickly, where you stand on a contract, and they'll be lucky to give you an hour or two at sometimes. And that's why you got to have a mentor or someone you can contact quickly. Okay. Now, I get this myth sometimes. Here's a kind of a myth that I get pertaining to, should I go with a brokerage that's a franchise or a smaller brokerage? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Brokerages that are franchises, they're not like McDonald's. Okay. It's not like that. I could literally turn my brokerage into a franchise and have everything switched over in 24 hours in theory, as long as I do one thing. Get my checkbook out, wherever that is. Write a check. Hey, can I use your name? And that's what you're doing. You're basically paying to use a company's name. Now, the franchises will say, oh, yeah, everyone's going to start using your company and the customers are just going to flock into your door because you have this specific name on the front door. That's not true. I've done both. It's not true. Okay. All right. Brokerages that are franchises, it doesn't make a difference if they're a franchise or not. And I'll tell you why. If you're a franchise, you pay to use a franchise's name. Okay. That's what you're doing. And then it's called independently owned and operated. Independently owned and operated. So this is not like McDonald's. So if you want to compare real estate franchises to McDonald's, it would be like me saying, okay, I'm going to take Ashmont Realty and we're going to call it McDonald's. And I'm going to pay McDonald's to use their name. But my McDonald's, I'm not going to have the golden arches. I'm going to have, maybe I'll do. I'll put the golden arches out front because I paid for that, right? So I better do that because people will know what that looks like. But I don't know how to make hamburgers, so I'm going to make tacos. I'm going to make tacos at my McDonald's here. You go down the street, and there's another McDonald's, right? Same real estate brokerage name, same sign on the door, exactly like yours, and they pay to have that sign too. But they sell pizza. Okay, weird. You go down the other side of town, there's this same brokerage with the same name on the front, and they sell hot dogs. Okay, you guys are completely independent from one another. I know franchises in our market that do things completely different. One of them has 300 people working there. They have splits and the whole 9 yards. The one down the street has 5. And they do splits different, things different. The one around the corner might have 20. They do everything different. They're splits. Some have office space, some doesn't. Because I get that a lot of the times. Like they'll say, well, this brokerage does this for me. And it's like, well, that it's not the company that does that. It's that brokerage. And that's why you see XYZ Realty something. Okay. It'll have like the name of the brokerage, the national brand, and then it'll have like a tagline at the end. The tagline is that specific location. And that tagline is they run it whatever the way they want it. So don't be scared if you don't, because I have, new students that, wanting to be agents that say, I don't want to work for a big franchise. It doesn't make a difference. It really doesn't. They're all the same, as in they're independently owned and operated. You could go into one of these franchises and there's a broker, 10 agents, and they run that thing like a sewing machine. It just hums along, really ran well. That's great. Okay. You'll go next down the street to the same franchise on the door, and there's 300 agents, and it's a poop show. Okay. No one knows anybody. It's just a bunch of agents running around, and it's ran really poorly. Okay. Don't get hung up on it. It comes down to whoever owns that franchise owner. And that's, so don't get hung up on it. If it's a brokerage that you're not familiar with as in a national brand, go interview them. Go interview the brokerage. It might be the best ran brokerage in the state of Ohio. Okay. So don't get hung up on that. Every brokerage, no matter what name is on the door, and they can change names. I see it a lot. I see a lot of these brokers, they'll go with one franchise and 3 or 4 years later, it doesn't work. They'll switch. They'll put another sign on the door, and then they'll do it again, hoping that like something sticks, but the thing about it is Gallup, one of the most prestigious polling company, they do a lot of polling for different things. They did a poll, and this is at the you go on the NAR's website, it's on there. They do a lot of these polls. Do you want to guess what percentage of people choose, as in clients choose a real estate brokerage because of their name? Now, if I want a hamburger, I know I go to, McDonald's, right? Because I like their hamburgers. Out of 100%, only 8% of clients go to a particular brokerage because a sign on their door says something, a certain logo. Okay. Don't get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on it. Okay. Find out what brokerage works best for you. Okay. The third thing that's really important, here's a great tip, is it a brokerage that you can grow within? All right. Believe it or not, if you're in the game long enough, you're going to start getting bored. Good real estate agents like real estate because it's exciting. It's always a little different, but there will be a time, and I remember that you're like, I want a new challenge. I want a new challenge. So like at Ashmont Realty, we have the mentor program where you can become a mentor and run your own teams. You're almost like a mini broker. Okay. Without any of the legal consequences or overhead. Okay. It's really good. You're sharing in the gross profits of the company, and not even profits, the revenue of the company, etc. All right. Some brokerages don't do that. Now, maybe that's not important to you. Maybe you don't want to grow. Maybe you just want to go to a brokerage and be hands off, and you don't want to have to go through training classes and stuff. And maybe you're getting a license just to sell your personal residence one time and to save a few $1,000s. Okay, great. Well, don't come to Ashmont Realty. I don't want you if that's what you want. Okay. All right. Think of it, guys. Now I'll kind of give this point. We'll end here. Is picking the right brokerage. There is like dating to get married. Okay. I mentioned that at the beginning. It really is come up with a list of things that are very important to you. Very important to you. Non-negotiables, such as I don't want to be stuck in an office. I don't want to go to a brokerage that makes me come to the office 5 days a week and answer phones. I don't want to come to a brokerage that I have to spend $200 or $300, $400, $500 a month in monthly dues. Yes, there are those. Okay. I don't want a brokerage, that makes me do certain things. Or maybe I want a brokerage that gives me flexible training. Or maybe I want a brokerage who, I get a mentor, that's someone that's teaching me and training me. Okay. At a reasonable cost. At Ashmont Realty, we don't even charge for mentors. There's no one in the industry that doesn't charge you for mentors. But some companies do. And that's fine. It's okay. It's better than nothing. Because if you don't have a mentor, I'm not talking about some 800 number or some virtual reality help desk. Like that is not a mentor. I'm talking about someone that you can go out for coffee, go out to eat. That you got to think about those things. And there is going to be a brokerage for you. You might need to go, before you get married, you want to go out on a few different dates with a few different people to kind of whittle them down. You'll quickly whittle those, dating people down to a couple. And then from there, go visit them. I always call test drive the brokerage, like go visit them, meet the other agents, see if they're happy, and then make your final decision. So don't rush, guys. Don't rush picking a broker. Take your time. That's the right way of doing it for sure. Okay. So with that being said, take your time. There's a brokerage out there for you. Interview a lot of them. Figure out what's important to you. And I know you'll be successful. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Ashmont Realty Live. My name is Adam Maxwell. Ashmont Realty and instructor at Hondros College. And right here, guys, 30% off. Ashmont Realty is a big sponsor of Hondros. We love them. We love Hondros College. If you want to get your license, 30% off your tuition. 30%, guys. Happy Valentine's Day. Treat yourself right. Get your real estate license. You can have it by probably May, June of this year. And I might teach you in class. So without further ado, guys, have a wonderful Valentine's Day, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.